Welcome back to the channel, DGens and crypto adventurers. If you've been tracking the market lately, then chances are Onyxcoin, better known by its ticker symbol XCN, has popped up on your radar. Whether you're holding long, planning your next entry, or just keeping tabs on trending tokens, today's update will give you a full spectrum breakdown of everything happening with XCN right now. So let's get into it. At the time of this recording, Onyxcoin is trading at 0.02451, and it's showing a noticeable uptick in momentum. In fact, XCN has jumped 7.01% in the last 24 hours, a strong single-day move that has sparked interest among traders and analysts alike. With a 24-hour trading volume of $80.83 million, the token is clearly seeing action, not just from casual retail traders, but potentially from institutional players and larger crypto whales positioning for the next leg up. The market cap of Onyxcoin currently sits at $685.47 million, giving it a respectable footprint in the broader digital asset landscape. While it only commands a market dominance of 0.02%, that figure doesn't tell the whole story. In a saturated market filled with hype coins, vaporware projects, and short-term pumps, Onyxcoin has shown an uncanny ability to keep clawing its way back onto the radar. And right now, that momentum looks like it's building again. But to fully appreciate where we are today, it helps to look back at where we've been. Onyxcoin reached its all-time high of $0.3593 on May 27, 2022, a moment when the crypto markets were frothy, optimistic, and bullish to the core. Back then, it wasn't unusual to see altcoins making double-digit gains in a single day. Onyxcoin was one of those that captured the market's imagination. But like everything else in crypto, the party didn't last forever. What followed was a harsh correction, and XCN, like many other tokens, found itself deep in the red. Its lowest price came on August 28, 2023, when it dipped all the way down to $0.000502. That's not just a correction, that's a full-blown crash. From nearly 19 cents to a fraction of a penny, the fall was steep. But what matters now is not just that it fell, but that it survived. Many tokens never recovered from the 2022-2023 bear market. Onyxcoin did. Since that low, XCN has shown signs of life again, climbing to a recent cycle high of 0.048999 cents. That's almost a 10,000% increase from its bottom, depending on where you start measuring. Volatility like that scares some people, but for seasoned traders and long-term believers, it represents massive opportunity. Buy low, sell high, right? Easier said than done, but the charts don't lie. XCN has had room to run, and many believe it still does. Zooming out, the overall market sentiment for Onyxcoin is currently bullish, according to leading prediction models and sentiment trackers. Adding to that optimism is the Fear and Greed Index, which today is sitting at 72, solidly in greed territory. Now, for those of you who watch sentiment indicators closely, you know that when the index swings from fear into greed, it usually means the crowd is starting to feel confident. But take caution. This can also be a contrarian signal. Sometimes when everyone is greedy, a pullback is around the corner. That's why it's so important to balance technical signals with fundamentals. And speaking of fundamentals, let's talk tokenomics. Onyxcoin has a circulating supply of 33.52 billion tokens, out of a maximum supply of 48.40 billion. That means roughly 69% of all tokens are already in circulation, which is relatively transparent compared to other altcoins that keep massive reserves locked in treasury wallets. But one metric that stands out is the current inflation rate of 20.12%. That's quite high, with 5.61 billion XCN created in the past year alone. This annual token issuance needs to be offset by strong demand and utility. Otherwise, price pressure from inflation can weigh heavily on upward movement. However, Onyxcoin isn't just floating in a vacuum. It has relevance across multiple ecosystems. In fact, it's currently ranked number 39 among Ethereum ERC20 tokens, number 11 on Binance Smart Chain, and number 33 in US-based crypto projects. These rankings reflect not just price action, but real usage, community strength, and development activity. Being prominent across both Ethereum and BSC is no small feat. It suggests multi-chain compatibility, broad developer support, and high transaction utility. Over the past month, XCN has continued to show encouraging signs of a potential breakout. In USD terms, the price of Onyxcoin has increased by 19.97%, which is a strong month for any asset, let alone one that's still fighting its way back from sub-penny levels. However, in comparative terms, XCN is down 27.12% against Ethereum and down 4.41% against Bitcoin. What that tells us is that while the token is gaining traction in fiat terms, it's underperforming relative to the big two, ETH and BTC. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, when a token dips relative to majors but maintains fiat strength, it often signals an accumulation phase. Smart money may be rotating in while prices are still considered cheap. Now let's look beyond numbers. Why does XCN continue to attract attention? First, there's the infrastructure being built around it. Onyx Protocol has been working on integrations that increase utility, such as with MetaMask and other DeFi tools. Then there's the consistent visibility across blockchain sectors. Unlike many flash-in-the-pan meme coins, Onyxcoin has tried to establish real-world use cases and maintain transparency about its development roadmap. While it's not without controversy or hurdles, the project is actively navigating a tough market, something many others failed to do. So, what's the final takeaway here? Onyxcoin isn't just another altcoin riding a temporary hype wave. It's a project that has weathered a brutal downturn, re-emerged with renewed momentum, and continues to gain traction across Ethereum and Binance ecosystems. With trading volume spiking, sentiment leaning bullish, and a technical recovery from its all-time low, XCN is shaping up to be a serious contender in the next altcoin cycle. That said, always do your own research. Consider the inflation rate, the market conditions, and how Onyxcoin fits into your overall portfolio strategy. Remember, crypto moves fast, and so should your understanding. If you found this update informative or even a little entertaining, go ahead and smash that like button, share this video with your fellow degens, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another deep dive or price breakdown. We've got more updates, charts, and altcoin reviews coming your way. So stay tuned, stay sharp, and as always, stay ahead of the herd.